My next guest is Justin Brown, co-head wrestling coach here at Willmar High School. Had a good year this year, didn't you, Coach?
Absolutely. We had a great year this year. Finished up 20-3 this year, or 20-25. So we went 1-2 down at the state tournament, finishing 6th. Made a good run. We had 7 individuals down this year. We had our goals set, and we achieved a lot of those goals throughout the season. There's some things that we maybe would have liked to have achieved a little bit more, but overall, very successful season. The kids did an outstanding job. They continue to put in hard work, and they write down their individual goals, and they keep working to achieve those goals.
So what's the coach's individual goals as you get ready for next year?
As we look forward to next season, our goals for our program is to continue to have our guys continue wrestling throughout the spring, continue to wrestle throughout the summer, and keep striving, and a lot of it's going to be put into the summer weight training program. And we look back at last season, things that maybe we could have done differently, and so we look at our practices, and maybe we should have gone a little harder at certain times, maybe we go a little lighter at certain times, but looking back at last season, we did a lot of things right, so we're just got to put a little tweak here and there, and we feel like we're headed in the right direction to take it to that next level.
So is it possible to be a state championship wrestler and not wrestle during the off season?
I'm going to say no. And you look at our state championship wrestlers, especially in AAA. I would say in A and AA, your chances of possibly winning a state title are there. But because most of those kids are 2- and 3-sport athletes, but if you're a 3-sport athlete like they are in Willmar, they still on top of that have to continue to wrestle throughout the spring and the summer. It's just right now wrestling is becoming very specialized like many other sports, and kids continue to wrestle throughout in the cities, those AAA schools, the big schools that we're competing against. Those kids are 1-sport athletes, and they're wrestling all year. So our kids have to work that much harder to be able to reach that goal of being a state champion.
I watched your kids wrestle a couple of times this year, and there's just a lot of heart and soul that they poured into their sport. I got to believe part of that comes from you, though, and the coaching staff. What role do you think you play in making those kids hunger for victory?
I think that it's building that expectation of winning and getting that mindset. And I think when we run our practices are very scripted. The kids, we're working hard at our drilling is very intense. And I think by setting that expectation, if you want to do this, you got to do this, and we preach that daily. And then we also, of course, good character, those type of things in our wrestling room to make sure that kids are making good choices. To be state champion, you have to make good choices both in the wrestling room and outside the classroom. Just like any other sport. But our kids, they've come with the mindset that they want to be champions, and so when they walk into the wrestling room, that's the mindset that we want and that we set, and then they just continue to work to achieve their individual goals. And a lot of it is set on them. We kind of tell them what we want them to do, and a lot of it is if they want to reach those goals, they've got to do what we ask, and a lot of our kids have done that.
This summer you got a camp going on?
We're bringing in Grit Wrestling, which is kind of a branch off of Jay Robinson Wrestling Camps. Jay Robinson is the head coach at the University of Minnesota. Basically has become a multimillionaire by doing Jay Robinson Camps. And so what he's doing is he's sending out clinicians, and it's kind of based on his philosophy, their intensity, their discipline. And so they're going to have 4 guys coming out July 7th through the 10th. From about 9 to noon, and they're going to put our guys, and we invite schools from all over. Last year we had about 100 kids at our camp, all the way down to Minnesota. We had probably about 10 Minnesota kids that kind of come up, and that's great for our kids to see other kids and wrestle with other kids from around the area. So we bring those kids up, and it should be a great camp. What we ask our kids to do is come away with just like one new technique or move that they can do to make themselves better, and if they can do that, it's a successful camp for them.
So they'll be here for about a week and wrestle for 3 or 4 hours in the morning, and then you go back to the rest of the summer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just a 4-day camp, July 7th through the 10th. It's about from 9 to noon, so about 3 hours of wrestling each day. And they come in. It should be some intense instruction, and then from there on out, we ask our kids to come in Monday, Wednesday, Friday, along with our weight training program. Once they complete their weight training program, usually for football or whatnot, and then they come in and then they wrestle in the wrestling room after they're done lifting.
Cost for the camp?
$50. We try to keep it very reasonable. It's not for our club to make money or anything like that. It's just to get our kids and kids from the area to come to a camp. And $50, you're thinking nowadays kids will spend up to $400 to go to a college camp. So very reasonable.
Thanks again for coming. Good luck. I hope you have a good summer, and I hope they have a great winter again next year. I'm lucky enough to have 3 wrestlers here that are going to be at the camp this summer, I hope. And you want to introduce yourselves for the thousands of people that are watching you on TV right now.
I am Vaughn Johnson. I wrestle 170 and 182.
And what year in high school are you going to be?
Here I will be a senior. I am a junior right now.
And you are?
I'm Travis Deegan. I wrestled 152 this past year, and I'll be a senior next season.
And you are?
I'm Colten Carlson, and I wrestled 160, and I will be a junior this next year.
I think the 3 of you were pretty successful this past year. Is that correct?
Yes, it was.
What was your record?
My record personally was 38 and 7 at the end of the year.
How about the other 2? What was your record?
I was 33 and 5 this past year.
And Colton?
I finished with a record of 42 and 4.
So this camp this summer, would you recommend going to the athletes out there that would be interested in going?
Oh yeah, it's going to be a great camp. We have great technicians coming, and it's not expensive, and it'll be good.
Are these the kind of camps that you went to when you were younger?
Yeah, this was pretty much the only camp I went to when I was younger. Up till about my 8th grade year, I started to go into different camps outside of the area. Usually I just go to this one. So it's been great for every year I've gone, so I've really enjoyed it.
So Vaughn, is there pretty good competition at this camp? Have you been to this camp before?
Yes, last year was my first year going to that camp, and there were a few guys that I wrestled there that were pretty good, and their technicians are pretty amazing. You got some from Minnesota and some from Concordia, so it's a really good camp.
What age group goes to the camp?
The camp is for anyone 4th grade to 12th grade.
All right. Anything else you want to add about the camp or about your coaches? You know, it's your shot. Yeah.
I think we have pretty good coaching. Every single day in the wrestling room, they try to push us our hardest, so we're not tired on the mat, or we don't look weak out there, so, yeah.
I think we got great coaches. They know what they're doing, and they want us to succeed.
How do you think they help you define success, Colton?
I think they help define success as we got people that came from, they each wrestled in high school, and they each had their own success or non-success that they had in high school, and they all have now come to the same point. So I think by each of their different stories, just like each wrestler in the room has their own unique kind of story of how they got to where they are today, and just like the coaches do.
So good luck to you. I hope you have a great camp, and you have a good summer and a good year next year, okay? Expect great things from all 3 of you.